This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Cover! We got it, the new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockout 3 Counts. Oh, yeah, baby. There's a real deal, baby.
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
What up, though? It is another Tuesday, and I told you to always keep them eyes peeled because you never know who's going to be in that Zoom box. Well, I mean, I told you I went to Texas. I told you we went to WrestleMania, and we were there for all the stuff WrestleMania weekend, and we happened to be there to see this man without the mask throwing some pretty badass roundhouse kicks. We've got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Ninja Mack. How you doing, brother man?
I'm doing good. Knockouts and 3 counts. Y'all want to make a bet tonight?
Hell yeah, what's the bet? Hey, yo.
Hey, Giselle, how many KOs at the next UFC fight going to happen? How many knockouts? How many matches are there?
All right, let me pull up the card that we can totally do that.
That's the Bilal
Muhammad, huh?
Right?
Hey, can you give me at least an over and under? Like, if you think it's going to be 3, let me call over or under.
All right. I'm pulling up the card here in a second, so we can totally do that.
Hey, little bets make it a little fun to start.
I love making wagers, dude.
All right, here it goes. So the fight card. All right, so it's Luque versus Muhammad. You've got the main event is Bilal Muhammad, Vicente Luque. The co-main says it's supposed to be Caio Barrio, and I don't know how in the hell to say his name.
Good luck with that one.
I was gonna say I don't even got the slightest clue. I am too, but I'm not even gonna. Godzi Omar Garazaev. That's the best I got. So my man, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. You got Miguel Beza.
Somebody's going down in that one.
You think so? Okay. So Miguel Beza and Andre Fiallo. You got Myra Bueno Silva and Wu Yanan. Pat Sabatini and a guy who he's from Canada, but he's fought a lot here in Detroit in TJ Larmy. And then you've got Munir Laziz and Anjay Lusa. So not the most star-studded, but I definitely think at least in the co-main and the main, you definitely got a shot for him for sure. So what are you saying, Corey?
It's funny if you flip over to the prelim section of this regular fight night, it has genuinely more names and star power than the main
I was just gonna say that the more recognizable names on the prelim card than
like significantly. You got Devin Clark fighting William Knight. You got
that could end in a knockout for sure.
You got Dakar Close fighting on the prelims. You got
Michigan
Rafa
boy,
Garcia.
yeah.
You got the man that hit a spinning back heel kick, or however the fuck you want to call it, and then did a somersault and watched all his fat jiggle, Chris Barnett from last year. If you guys remember that one,
I do.
That was great. That was fucking.
So what number are you gonna give me?
To answer your question,
so what's
I'm taking
the number?
over. I'm taking the over on the knockouts.
What's the number on the over?
What's the number? Are we going 3?
4?
Under over is 5 to make it competitive. To make it
5?
competitive, I'd say.
Damn,
Holy shit! Holy
Hey,
hell! You're saying that's a lot of knockouts.
What is it? 7 matches?
Let me count the total, but there was quite a few, I believe.
Probably. I mean,
If you guys are watching, what's your over/under on the UFC card that's coming up? How many knockouts do you think we're gonna get? Let us know in the comments. Cody, you were watching with us last weekend. How many knockouts do you think we're gonna get?
As of right now, it's a 14 fight card. So
14?
Five now.
That's not bad. You know what? I like knockouts. Let's go over then.
Okay, so
more
Ninja Mack says over. Corey, you're saying
knockouts
over
make good
5.
clips.
So we got 2 over. Where are you at, J-Bone?
I got 4.
Oh, so you're going under.
Got 4.
You know what? I'm gonna. Can we go like right at 5? Like, can we pick 5 as a number?
You can do whatever.
Hey, you call even. I don't care. We can make the bet whatever we want.
I think we're gonna go. I think we're going even with an even 5.
Okay.
That'd be an interesting stat tracker.
Cody says he's going under with 4. So Cody says 4, J-Bone says 4. Both you guys say over the 5, and I say right at 5. We're going to have to get more people's thoughts as they come through here. So as we come through, we're going to keep a tracker on the over-under.
If anybody wants to use DraftKings Sportsbook, you make sure you use my link. All right, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah. Use that link.
Are you going to throw the link out first?
I don't know how to do that. Exactly.
What the fuck, man? How you going to plug your DraftKings link?
Here's a good thing here. Follow me on Twitter. I'll post the link on there. Give me all the free bets by using my link. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Dude, come on, man. You got to at least post it in the comments.
It's like HTTP J-Bone DraftKings Sportsbook.
You find that and post that in the comments, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Pull that up.
But, before we talk about how money Mr. Mack is in the ring, that brings somebody who's not going to mess with your money, and that's our fine sponsors at G3 Payroll and Tax. If you guys haven't gotten your taxes done, I know it's tax season. Hit up Jack and the homies at G3 and tell them Knockouts and 3 Counts said ya. But speaking of knockouts, man, first of all, let's talk about your WrestleMania week, because you were all over the place. And so how are you feeling now that you've gotten out of WrestleMania week, and you said you took a little bit of time before you get to go to war at Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan? So how are you feeling about your WrestleMania week, and what were your highlights other than what I would imagine is the obvious in your match at Bloodsport?
Yeah, it was good. I had 6 matches. I ended up I did my heavy load on that Thursday, Friday with the GCW, and then I got to show up at Ring of Honor, but I got my ass whipped by their future heavyweight champ. That's going to be there. Brian Cage is one brick wall, metal wall, whatever you want to call him. That man is solid and whipped my ass. But besides that, it was a great weekend. And then I got to finish the weekend with Matt Cross Sunday at midnight. So I only did 6 matches. I ended up taking Saturday off because I got a little ass whipping by Brian Cage, and then I had to drive to GCW, the World on Lucha, and then wrestle AR Fox all within 45 minutes. And just overworking myself, I got a little ass whipping by AR Fox at the end. So most of my work was early, and then I saved up to do good at Cross. But now it's prep time. I got to get ready for Noah. I got to get ready for Japan. Taking these 2 weeks off to really refocus, retrain, and then kind of get out of it. It's different to wrestle indies, wrestle TV, wrestle internationally, Mexico, wrestle Japanese, wrestle European. So I really got to check into that Japanese style and toughen up, and they're a little stronger over there on the strong style. That's why they got that name.
Yeah. Now, you bring up the fact that they're different. Is there any more excitement? I mean, there's always excitement, right? Like that's basically one of the biggest check marks you can get as a wrestler, is being able to travel overseas and take your talents and put on shows over there. Any more excitement on being able to make the trip?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love the challenge of one, when you go over, just from previous experience with Mexico, as I get better at Spanish, you're still trying to pick up the language. It's going to be the same idea in Japan. You're kind of lost at first. I don't know what's being said. I know what's around me. I'm still trying to pick up the environment. But that just, all those extra challenges makes it even more fun when you can go wrestle these. There's some of the best in the world over there. And to have the chance to be able to wrestle some of the best in the world over there at Pro Wrestling Nova in Japan, I can come back with more experience, and then I can grind a little harder here. So I'm just trying to wrestle the best in the world right now, get myself a level up, and then be able to come back and take that next step. So maybe I don't get murdered by Brian Cage next time.
I'll cut you a little bit of slack because, I got to interview Brian Cage and quickly figured out why. I don't know how, man, I got to give you credit, first of all. Doing an interview in a mask, I tried to interview Brian Cage in a mask, and let me tell you, my glasses fogged like a son of a bitch. So the fact that you're doing the show with a mask on right now, kudos to you, sir. But with that
number 6 today in a mask. I've been living in this thing.
Shit, he's trying to tell me I need to step my game up out here. Son of a bitch. I'm glad I don't got to wear my mask anymore. But, let's talk about, before we get into, how you got it under the mask and all those type of things, well, I guess that's as good a place as any to start. Before we talk about Bloodsport, where you unmasked and had your match with Yo-Yo, which, first of all, dude, that was fucking badass. But that brings the question, now knowing that you have that wrestling background, now knowing that you were hitting all those throws and throwing those kicks and all those things. And like we talked about before we got on the show, that you still spar and all that. How did you end up under the mask? What was the inspiration for it? How did Ninja Mack become the aerial assassin that we see?
Well, when I first started wrestling, I was coming off a 6-year run in the circus. I traveled. I graduated high school. I went to 1 year of college. Realized college wasn't beneficial to what I was trying to do with what I was raised into. And I mean, I grew up doing a lot of amateur wrestling, some gymnastics, and I ended up I went up to Vegas and tried out for Circus Soleil my first year of college because I was kind of lost at college. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and they actually took me. And I that's why I would say my flips and my aerials got real pretty from the circus work. But 6 years of traveling, I mean, I went international countries. I mean, I did shows in America, and then at 25, I met a wrestler on my last circus show, and he told me that I'd be a good wrestler for pro wrestling. You should try it. And I'm from Houston, Texas, where I live now, and Booker T has a school there. And he got me in touch with Booker within like 3 days of figuring all this info out. And I went to Booker the first weekend I came back, and I never went back to the circus. And then since then, man, I wrestled for 4 years. I had a kid. I took off. And when COVID kicked off and I was sitting at home, I kind of, you get that itch to go back and train. And then I ended up starting local wrestling in Houston, Texas with a couple friends to kind of practice, get some running in. And then, you catch fire with Wrestling with Unicorns. You get 100,000 views on little clips on YouTube.
Shout out to Martin.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Martin. Wrestling with Unicorns. They filmed mine and Dante's match at Loco for that first time in January. That match got GCW calling us. They filmed the Dragon Bane and my match. And when they filmed that match and put out clips, Noah and AAA called me 30 minutes after the match. And that's when I did my debut for AAA. And then with Noah, it got pushed back with all the COVID. But now I get to leave for Noah on April 20th. So next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow.
So you've got all these people that in a pandemic are like, man, I'm sitting down because there's no shows. So Ninja Mack says, fuck it. I'm going to just start my own show. And then now because of your own show and the homies like Martin and all the fine people over at Wrestling with Unicorns, which if you're not following them yet and you're a wrestling fan, I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Go follow them. They're great people.
Exactly. I have nothing but good things to say about Martin. But yeah, man, tell me about that. Like, I want to know a little bit more about that. So number one, I had no idea with you and Loco, but what was the mindset into starting that? Like, was it just because there wasn't anything running out there in Texas, or?
Well, I was, when I stopped wrestling because I had a kid, I was already traveling in the circus, and then when I wrestled for 2 years, it was kind of the same thing, living out of a suitcase, traveling on weekends, road to road. So, I met a girl, fell in love, had a kid, got a house, started the family thing, and, got a job. I'm not one to sit. Just because I wrestled, I had a kid now, so I had to go to life and had to take a big boy job, and I couldn't go train anymore. So when COVID kicked off and we weren't working, I was just sitting there, and I just can't sit, man. So I ended up going back to the ring. My brothers kept fighting because I grew up doing amateur wrestling my whole life. And I'm the oldest of 7. So all of us were wrestlers, 5 boys, 2 girls. All of them went to college on scholarships. I just went to the circus because I'm a circus clown. And then, I got a sister in Lindenwood right now, and I got a brother that's a junior dominating at Side Creek at 115 right now. So, they're still, and he's number 7, and they're still going strong. So, just had an amateur wrestling background, and all the flips kind of made it real easy to do martial arts. You kind of roll into taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, and with all the martial arts, it was real easy to kind of roll into a ninja character in the pro wrestling, and it fits so naturally. And then when down in Texas, there's so much lucha, and ninja is so related with mask. I would come out and wear a mask, but I would take it off against a luchador. Because I'm not a luchador. But I wrestle a lot of lucha. A lot of people consider me a luchador, and I do a lot of lucha stuff. But I'm a white person. I'm a gringo, so I'm not a luchador. But against Americans, I would keep the mask on, and I would just to mess with them, intimidation purpose. And as I got interest in GCW and AAA called, I kind of brought in more of not just ninja, but I'm a gambling ninja because I'm a pro gambler. I gamble, I do parlays, I bet. That's what I do besides wrestling. I go to casinos, I do blackjack, hold'ems. I want to be the first wrestler with a gold bracelet. That's gonna be one of my goals.
Hell yeah, World Series of Poker, huh?
Oh yeah, I want that $10,000 sit-in, man. I want to walk away with something on that one.
You guys see my little horn just light up because we talk about doing our little parlays on here on fight weekends, and let's just say I haven't had the best of luck lately. So.
Yeah, but if y'all look, I wear black and red, and it's not just those colors. That's the colors of a roulette table.
The roulette table.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you know roulette, I kind of went with that when Noah called because if you ever bet zeros, zeros are green. And I've never shown my green one because no one ever bets zero, but that's going to be a very special occasion.
Right.
Dude, but, that's dope. I was going to ask what kind of games does Ninja Mack get into because I always see put a bet on it, man. But shit, it sounds like the more the merrier.
Oh, any game you want to make a game. I got one of those gambling problems. I got the hotline number. I know Lucy pretty well when I call her.
You want to make a game. That's the best response.
Well, so when I do merch when I always do merch, I don't just do merch. Like I don't just give my autograph away. If you want my autograph, you got to beat me in a coin flip or paper, scissors, rock, best of 3. You got to make that bet. If you ask me if you want to do any kind of bets at merch, I'll do half off my merch if you win a bet. Dude, I play games. If you're in Texas and Houston,
dude.
I like that shit, man.
Yeah, if you're in Houston, my merch table is a blackjack table. I play blackjack with you at home in the local arena, and that's if you beat me 3 hands in a row, you fucking win one of my shirts.
I like it, dude. I like it. See, now that makes it more interesting, more interactive at the merch table. See, I like it. Ninja Mack says send it. That's what Cody said in the comments. He might just be fucking right, dude.
I mean, with everything you listed off as like your accolade, working in the circus alone, that's just, and then the amateur wrestling and everything else, like you may have had the most perfect build into a pro wrestling story I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of tricks coming after Noah. Y'all haven't seen any of my weapons yet. Yeah, I've been holding a little bit back for these bigger stages.
I like to hear it. Well, before we hear about what kind of weapons you're packing on the way to the ring after Noah, I want to talk a little bit about Bloodsport, man, because Bloodsport was by far one of my favorite shows of last weekend. You had a hell of a match, and like I told you when I DM'd you, like I said, not blowing any smoke, dude. I was genuinely impressed by the throws because I didn't know that you had the wrestling background like that. So when you were hitting the lateral drops and shit like that, and I was like, dang, dude. Being the MMA and jiu-jitsu nerd myself, like I was telling you, I've got a purple belt. So like anytime I see stuff like that, that's why I've always gravitated towards the Bloodsport type of stuff because, hey, you talk about making bets. I challenged Jimmy Smith to see how good his leg locks work. We didn't get to make it happen in Texas, but I told him, I said, let's see how them leg locks are, Jimmy. So, Jimmy, if you hear this, man, I know you were just here in Detroit last night, brother, man. Next time you come on out, let's bring it. But tell me about Bloodsport, man. Obviously, you unmasked and all that. Was that something you knew you wanted to do ahead of time, or was that a last-minute decision?
That was a last-second decision. Shout out to Josh Barnett and Brett to give me that chance on Bloodsport. I was able to see it for the first time in Tampa last year at my first collective, and as soon as I saw it, I went straight to Josh Barnett, introduced myself, and asked him what does it take for me to get on here and do a match like this? Because that's I love the GCW matches. I love all the crazy flippy matches. But like I said, I did amateur wrestling growing up. I trained fighting. I spar. I do jiu-jitsu. And to move in the ring like that to me is so much more natural and easier. And then it felt better to run that kind of a style of match, to be able to do something. And then even now, I still like to spar during the week. So I like that. I like that feeling like you don't know what's about to happen. I mean, Yo-Yo caught me with a good kick early in the match, rocked me a little, and luckily I'm a little bigger and I was able to just sprawl out and get back up. But I love that feeling. You don't know what's going to happen.
Kyle, you were there, man, for Bloodsport. What was the atmosphere like down there, dude? I mean,
Bloodsport's a whole nother.
From the looks of it, I actually have it up right now, but from the looks of it, it just looks like almost like an underground, like fighting atmosphere, dude. It's like
it's got that little Fight Club feel. You know, I like that Jean-Claude Van Damme Bloodsport style with no ropes. Honestly, I wish we take those poles down and put that ring on the floor because falling.
Damn it! I was saying that. I wanted like the first couple where you saw like even the ones they did the last ones they did when we talked with Tom Lawler, dude. When they did like the mat like they had in Bloodsport. So there was no ring. It wasn't like the ring floor. So like this year at Bloodsport, like he was saying, there was the four corners. Like I want to see him go back to like that Kumite looking mat. That shit was dope, but I agree with you. With the no ropes and all that stuff, it was dope because I mean Moxley and Biff Busick beat the piss out of each other, dude.
Man, those
bleeding
guys
all over the place.
Those guys are some hard hitters. They're definitely leading that kind of a style, and they're some of the best in the world right now. Man, watch out for Biff, and obviously Moxley's the best in the world, I think, right now too. Just everything he does carries the GCW belt. So
I just watched the kick again, man. Like, tell me about that. What kind of feedback on social media? Because I know I was seeing it all over the place on Mania Weekend. It made my top 10 list for Mania Weekend. Period. That roundhouse kick was something incredible, dude.
So I had a bad run out. So right after Bloodsport, you know, I believe it was what show was at 8:00? Was that
So it was you had Janela Spring Break Part 1.
Part 1, that's what it was. So right before Janela Spring Break, we do Bloodsport. It's probably like an hour after. I'm not really on my phone. I'm cleaning up, watching the rest of the show. Some of the Gringo Loco and Jack Cartwheel come from the AAA show, come high five everyone behind, and my phone's in my hand, and they give me a high five saying what's up, and my phone goes flying, shatters the first day we're there. So I didn't get no social media to check on for like probably a day and a half until I got a new phone right before Ring of Honor. I had to get a phone for Ring of Honor to get in. So I missed that whole buzz of that kick, but I mean, I was able to go back and read some comments, which was real cool. Man, I missed a lot of that pop on that first night.
So I'll tell you what, it gained some reach out here because I seen it all over on Twitter that night. It was everywhere, dude. And like I said, that was something incredible.
Hey, I did see it. I mean, it passed 100,000 views on each platform, I think, pretty easily, and that's been the goal right now. Can I get 100,000 views every weekend I wrestle?
There it is. There it is.
Hey man, that's a hell of a goal because shit, I've been playing around with all those social medias. Which, if you're not already doing so, make sure you're following us at KO3C Pod. Mac, let them know where to find you on all the social medias and stuff.
Hey, you can always see me, Ninja Mack, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Real easy. Type in Ninja Mack. You see the face, you see the ninja. And if you, like I said, if you haven't subscribed and you haven't subscribed to Knockouts and 3 Counts, you are missing out. Subscribe to the podcast and tune in.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Gets on here and already telling people to come check it out. Like I said, we appreciate the time, man. This will be the first of many. So with Bloodsport, my whole thing is this, right? So like for you, that was the first time I'd ever seen you unmask. Like, how often are you wrestling these days without your mask? Because for me, that was the biggest thing that jumped out off rip was I'm like, damn, all right. Like, I haven't seen dude wrestle without his mask. So are you still wrestling kind of back and forth with the mask and without? Or has it been a while?
Like I said, at first, I started taking it off when I first came back, and I kept it on depending. And when I went to AAA and I kind of colored out, I've kept it on. It has come off in a couple of the Los Angeles shows, just accidentally in matches. But I felt like fighting previously, wrestling my whole life, I already hated wearing headgear when they established that rule back in junior high and high school. So to actually have a real fight feel. I mean, talking to Josh Barnett at the time a year ago, I wasn't wearing the mask, so that's how I introduced myself to Barnett. And I don't want anyone to say, oh, you know what, that's protecting your head, or it's inhibiting your vision, or what's happening. So it was just easier. And honestly, I didn't know I was going to take it off until I got in the ring. I took the gloves off, and I felt everyone kind of like eyes on me, and I just said, you know what, it's just the time to do it. I took it off, worked the crowd. They popped for me, so it's a great choice, because if they didn't pop, it would have been a really bad decision, because I'm already getting a little heat for it. So
Yeah,
I got a little heat for taking that mask off, but it was I feel like with Bloodsport, it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely gave it a realistic feel.
You definitely got to be picky and choosy with the moments with once you've established a character like that. But to your point, I like the point you made earlier when you're facing an actual lucha that you take it off. That
Heck yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, dude, and being in the crowd, like I said, the whole crowd was so shocked that you took the mask off, and like I said, seeing that, not only that, but seeing you be able to incorporate the the regular wrestling style and things like that. Again, for me being a fellow jiu-jitsu guy and things of that nature, I really appreciated that, because it showed a whole different side. I've heard you mention a few times already that being a wrestler and things like that have been in your life for a while. So that brings me to the other part of this side of this show, where we talk MMA, we talk boxing, we talk bare knuckle, we talk all those things. So how big of an MMA fan is Ninja Mack, and how much regularly are you able to keep up with UFC or just combat sports in general?
I would say pretty consistently, but with as much as I've been running the last 2, 3, 4 months, I just catch highlights. I catch who's kind of on, because a lot of our shows are Friday, Saturday, and by the time we're out of a show, it's midnight. So we're either catching the last thing or highlights. So I would say I've been slacking the last couple months. Just even this last weekend, I haven't even seen highlights. It was I had to spend the weekend with the family. I'm about to leave for Japan. And missing, hard life of missing the girl's birthday over WrestleMania weekend. We got to do it for work, so I had to give her a weekend. So I've been very bad at keeping up. But hey, like I said, I know you are keeping up, so let's fill me in. What's going on?
So we had quite the card this past weekend. It was headlined by Volkanovski and the Korean Zombie, as Max Holloway got hurt. And then you had, in the co-main event, you had Aljamain Sterling versus Petr Yan running it back. And then you had what I think was the fight of the night in Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns. I mean, really, that whole card from top to bottom really kind of was stacked. You had the Pinchel versus Madsen fight, and you also had Mackenzie Dern and Tisha Torres. So yeah, it was quite the card, man. But obviously star-studded with the 2 title fights. I mean, Volkanovski really just showed that he's on another level as far as him and Zombie. But are you a fan of anybody in particular that was on the card on that one? I mean, I know you said you've been kind of out the loop, but I mean, we had quite the star-stud of names on there.
Nah, Zombie, moves pretty well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us are pulling for the Zombie, man. What are you gonna work, man?
He got work, dog.
It was bad.
Hey, man,
I wouldn't be able to keep up right now. I wouldn't be able to tell you anything about anyone, honestly.
Yeah, Volkanovski, I don't necessarily think it's so much a shot against Korean Zombie, right? Like, he just looked like he was slightly outskilled, more so out. He wasn't as fast, man. Volkanovski just beat him to every punch, every exchange, and for me, it just really shows where the division's at. Like, there's 2 tiers. There's Max Holloway and Volkanovski, and then there's the rest of 45. There's a couple contenders in there that have shown that they're working their way up to that level. I'd like to see maybe Arnold Allen get that chance, or maybe why can't I think of his name at the moment? Never mind, because I can't even think of his name. So obviously,
that guy.
Max Holloway is the only one left at 145 point blank. Period.
It is for the title contention, and Volkanovski has actually made a whole media tour this week talking about potentially making his move up to 55. So
fuck that. He can't go to 55 without fighting Holloway, dude. Otherwise, he's got unfinished business at 45, in my opinion. But but other than that, dude, we We had the banger of. I feel like we had like a fight of the year candidate though, with Shemaev and Gilbert Burns, dude. I mean, I think if you ask 10 people, do you think that it's gonna end up being like a banger like that? I think most people would have thought either Khamzat was going to just run right through him or maybe Gilbert was going to catch a submission. But hot damn, dude, they beat the hell out of each other. Highly recommend that one if you check out any of those fights.
Definitely check that one out then.
That was by far the most
man.
entertaining fight of the night. There was not a single doubt in that. And I know during my breakdowns last week, I had kind of said that, you know, I feel like Khamzat was going to show his ability to just outsize him, be the bigger man. He seemed like he had advantages at every position except for maybe the submission game. But Gilbert Burns really put all that to rest, huh? I mean, he really showed me the fuck up.
I mean, granted, it was definitely a huge step up in competition, right? But at the same time, you got to give it to Khamzat, dude. The dude handled his own. He wasn't a slouch in there.
I mean,
he took some punches. His chin got tested, and I think that makes him even more scarier because he could take a punch clearly. And dude,
well, now he knows what he's got to work on before he goes and fights. Now he knows what he got to work on before he goes up there and fights Usman. Because I'm just gonna say, if he fights like that against Usman, Usman's whooping his ass. Yeah. But if he can mix that to Kamaru Usman, man, Usman's a bad SOB, man.
If he can mix it up, though, dude, I mean, he's got a shot. And you never know. On a good night, that dude could be as ruthless as he was before. You never know.
That's why I said if he can take this fight and mix that together with what he was doing with the wrestling, boy, that's gonna be a crazy matchup for Usman, man. Well, with that, there you go, Kathy. All right, Team Usman. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Well, let me ask you that though. So since you said that you've been kind of out the game for a couple months and stuff like that, was there anybody with you having the wrestling background? Are there any big names that stick out that were guys that you like to watch fight coming up?
I mean, of course. I mean, I was a huge fan of just watching St. Pierre. I mean, just watching him, and that's just old school stuff. But man, I could still watch anything he does. I mean, I'm always watching old school wrestling or old school fights. So, I mean, a lot of his stuff comes up. Silva's stuff comes up. I mean, yeah, I give you a little more knowledge on college wrestling just because all my brothers are there. I'll be able to check in on that. But knockouts and 3 counts, I'm really sorry, but they are booting me out of this brewery. So I'm about to wrap it up on y'all. I'm so sorry to cut out on y'all.
You're
so
straight,
fast.
brother. You're straight. Because the only thing I had that leaves us for the perfect timing to ask the question that we always use to end these interviews. So if Ninja Mack had one piece of advice or one pet peeve or anything of the locker room that pissed him off, what would it be? Because we've had the likes of Silas Young and Shane Taylor and all of them have dropped things like wash your balls, keep your baby mama out the locker room, bring your own squirt bottle, bring your own wrist tape. We've had all kinds of them. So if you have any pet peeves or anything that might annoy you or any advice for somebody coming into a locker room, what would it be?
To all the motherfuckers that only do shows and don't come up to practice, go to fucking practice and get in a ring. Stop just doing shows. You make the rest of us look bad.
There you go.
Hey, man, I respect it. Put in your time, put in your work. We didn't get to go over it too much, but if you've got anything left that you want to plug with your trip over to Pro Wrestling Noah, where everybody can check it out, and any news on who you might be facing, feel free to throw that out and where they can find you.
Well, April 29th, you can see me take on Dragon Bane and Alpha, the top wolf over there. We're going to be doing a 3-way, which you don't get to see a lot in Pro Wrestling Noah, so that's going to be very interesting. And those two guys are really great wrestlers and luchadors. Some very, very fast-paced action is going to be happening in Noah. And you can check out and watch anything on Noah at Wrestle Universe. You can see that Wrestle Universe to watch Noah. And if you haven't, go bet Ninja Mack. That's the best bet out there. And if you haven't, go Knockouts and 3 Counts, subscribe, because they are max bets also. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night tonight.
All right, man.
Hell yeah, man. Like I said, when you come into Detroit, bro, like I said, I got that roll waiting for you, boss man.
Hey, big bets. I appreciate you. Y'all have a good night.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Likewise. Alrighty. Ninja Mack. Like I say,
Cool
good
dude,
time.
man. Cool dude right there.
Unfortunately, had to be cut short on that one because he seemed like a very entertaining fellow. I can't wait to see where his career takes him.
Definitely gonna have to do round 2. Like I said, I invited Ninja Mack to come out and train with us once he comes out to Detroit. So we'll have to see what happens when if Ninja Mack and I ever end up tying it up. Cody says Ninja Mack fuck the world. I'm with you. Ninja Mack fuck the world. All right.
Hey, have
well,
him teach you one of those roundhouse kicks, would you? I'd like to see that.
Hell yeah. I mean, I
That's
know
what
how
I'm
to throw a
talking
high
about,
kick,
dude.
but hell yeah, I want to learn how to throw like that spinning crazy shit too. Hell yeah. Maybe I'll have him show me how to throw one of those. But Kathy, since you're in here, you know, Cody was watching it with us. We talked a little bit about it. We talked about Khamzat Chimaev, and we talked about Gilbert Burns, but we could also talk about what happened with Aljo and Petr Yan. I mean, I've been paying attention to what I've been seeing in the media, and from everything I see, Dana White's over here saying he thinks that the judges fucked up and got it wrong, which, I mean, he's just being honest. I don't think he was directly trying to be a dick to Aljo, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, way to go shit on your champ. But
immediately, right? Immediately. That was my real story of the whole night, man. That was my biggest fight going into it. I know everybody was looking to see if Khamzat was the real guy and stuff against Burns and stuff, but I wanted to see the conclusion of this potential grudge match between Aljamain Sterling and Petr Yan, and I feel like we may not have seen the end of it, to be honest with you, with the way that fight kind of played out. Nobody got a finish or anything like that. Aljamain, in my eyes, won the fight. I was kind of rooting for Aljamain, of course. I am a homer here and pick with the heart once in a while. But that being said, I did go back and watch that first round, and it really is a fucking toss-up, right? Like
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, would you be shocked if it went the other way? Like, I wouldn't be too shocked. You know what I mean?
No.
I think it could have went either way, but once again, that's why you don't leave it in the judges' hands, right? You got to finish the fight. So.
And that was really the whole theme of the pay-per-view. I had said that, I think, probably 10 times with my drunk ass at Kyle's house on Saturday night, talking about this should be named the UFC. How do they judge the first round? Because there was 4 fights on the main card. How do you score the first round? And that
I feel
really decided the whole fight. It really did. Other than the Zombie and Volkanovski fight, how would you score the first round? If you scored the first round for him, then that's the way the fight went. Other than that, like, it was a great night of action, but man, it was crazy to see how much that, initial 5 minutes made that much of a difference, in all these fights.
Yeah.
You're not kidding, dude. And I mean, the thing of it is, like, I feel like for all the talking about how Petr Yan was going to, just blow through him, dude. Like, I mean, it's not like Aljamain, finished him or anything with all the stuff he was saying as well. But I mean, I still feel like Aljamain's going to have to get a couple more wins for people to really like get that Petr Yan monkey off his back, dude.
Would you guys be opposed to just running it right back?
I would rather than not.
No, they don't. That's not one that you run back right away.
I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I would rather than not. I would rather see the TJ call out. I feel like it's perfect. Maybe Jose Aldo, perfect. One of these guys that's a veteran in the division and helps build up.
Do you think that he can get through TJ though? Because a lot of people are saying they think TJ is going to tear him up.
I don't know about tearing him up, but I think it's going to be a very tough fight, though. I think Petr Yan would have beat TJ Dillashaw, and I thought Aljamain just beat Petr Yan. MMA math is not great. We all know this, but I don't know. That's why they make the fights, but I feel like Aljo's wrestling and his distance control with somebody like TJ, who doesn't necessarily do as great of a job with the hands as Petr Yan does, I feel like he may be able to get it done. I would be curious to see whose wrestling kind of counteracts the others, though. Is Aljo going to be able to, implement his wrestling in a fight with TJ Dillashaw, who's a great wrestler himself?
Now, I personally think that the bigger question in that one is, okay, so you can say that maybe Petrion might be the tighter with his hands, but let's not forget all that training with Dwayne Ludwig and the fact that I personally think that TJ has much more pop in his hands than Petrion does. And if TJ cracks Aljo, how's his chin gonna hold up to it? But then we're gonna, like you said, that's where Aljo's wrestling is going to have to come into play with that. We talked about Ninja Mack and his wrestling, which if you guys are late to the party, make sure you go and check out Ninja Mack and telling us about his wrestling background, and tell them motherfuckers they need to get their reps, before they get in the ring. But with that being said, I don't know. All I keep hearing about today is that Volkanovski wants to go up to 55. Now, I'm going to say the same thing that I said with Ninja Mack. Volkanovski has no business going to 155 until he fights Max Holloway. If he doesn't fight Max Holloway, his business is not done at 145.
I really think he needs 2 more fights. Because
I wouldn't argue that either, but I'm just saying the fact that Holloway never got his match back, you can't be giving him a shot at 55, I feel like.
That's my whole point, is not only did he not get his match and get to run it, it's the way the whole saga with him is played out, and the fact that that's been the vast majority of Volk's title defenses. Now he has, I believe, 3 defenses, but he took the belt from Holloway and then defended against Holloway, and now has fought Zombie and Ortega. I feel as though he needs to fight Holloway and fight another one of those contenders. And then we can talk about making a move up to a different weight class, trying to become a champ and all that stuff. I feel like he truly has the skills to get himself there. He really showcased that Saturday night, man. He put on an incredible performance. And I don't know how a move to 55 would be, because a lot of these guys are significantly bigger, but he's shown a great job of being able to deal with, taller, lengthier guys than himself already. So
I don't know. That was my thing too, is I don't know how he does with the size difference, man. Like I just really don't know, because a lot of guys that are coming down to 55, dude, are coming down from 190, 195.
Big guys.
Man, that's gonna be a lot of problem, even for a guy that. Am I saying that Volkanovski isn't there in terms of his skill wise? Hell no, that's not what I'm saying. But am I saying that to do that against a 55er?
Yeah.
Like I said, all the more power to him. And if he can beat Max, give him a chance. If that's what you're gonna do, have him fight Michael Chandler or somebody, and then if he can beat them, have him fight for the title. But I don't know, man. I think in order for Volkanovski to be able to be making any type of claims with that kind of stuff, he needs to clear out the division. And speaking about clearing out divisions, the week for your boys over here at Knockouts and 3 Counts isn't even done yet, because this Thursday we are going to be joined at 9 p.m. by the homie Justin Main, who has a lot to say ahead of BCWA Die Harder, which is going down this Saturday at the Copeland Center in Wyandotte. And like I said, Uncle Chase is going to be going at it with Matt Cross, a guy who you can check Ninja Mack out against from last weekend. It's going to be a banger. I'm going to be there. J-Bone's going to be there. Maybe we can drag Corey's ass out his fucking hole. I say, BCWA is going to be a good time. They're definitely always putting on good shows. We got to see what Justin Main's got in store, because I hear we're going to see an undisputed BCWA champion. We've seen, the 2 belts for a minute. We're going to see one champion from what I'm hearing at BCWA Die Harder. You've also got guys like the Frogun and Studio 86 going to be there as well. Like I said, if you're in the area, BCWA is definitely a show to be at. J-Bone, I mean, I don't know about you, but for being such a small place, that crowd is on point.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Studio 86 gets them pumped, dude. They get that crowd going, man. Maserati Rick, Bill Martell, dude, those guys class acts, bro. I love Studio 86. Bro.
So do you think it's
remind me,
Maserati?
do not-
Is it Maserati and Martel? Is it Blackwell, or is it the fanny packs?
It's the fanny packs, bro. It's the fanny packs. Listen, don't let me leave BCWA this Saturday without a Studio 86 shirt. The past 2 times I went there and I had to get one of those shirts, and I fucking leave without getting one. But I did get it.
Okay, here's the deal.
Shirt, so it's all good.
Don't let me forget that I'm supposed to bring you a shirt, and I got a shirt for Blackwell as well. Fanny packs for the win. See, now, Bill Martell, you still got to come on this show because we got to tell the story of you and I fighting on the same card when I was 13 years old next to the gay strip club. But with that being said, we also got to talk, man, because I got an idea for you. I got the potential. You need to start loading up them fanny packs and then, like, dude, I don't know, do a drop kick or some kind of shit, and you blast them with what's in the fanny pack. Get that pinned right quick. Get you to the pay window quicker. I mean, fanny packs for the win could be a real thing. I'm just saying.
It's the fanny packs and the Ghostbusters music, bro, that gets me. It just gets me going.
Get you a Ghostbusters fanny pack and load that bitch up, and they'll never see it coming.
Not the actual Ghostbusters theme.
I got an idea. Give me the damn belt.
You know.
Yeah, I got an idea, Cody. Give me the damn belt, and I got a great idea for all of you guys. If you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button, please. We're almost at about 300 subscribers over here. We're trying to get our YouTube numbers up over to our Facebook numbers. Also, shout out to the network, ASAP, All Sports, All Plays Network. Stay tuned. I am supposed to be talking to Larry Gibson from Bellator this Thursday as well. That will be on there. Hey, Cody, see, I got belts, and hey, Wiggs, hey, I got a belt. Motherfucker.
He keeps these belts right next to his spot, dude.
Keep them bitches in the studio. They ready for the close-up. See, I got the belts. Got my belt like Razor. Say goodbye to the bad guys. Shout out to Mega Ran. Hey, J-Bone, I heard you and Mega Ran are going to be getting down soon.
Yeah, huh? me and Mega Ran, we had some initial talks right now. He'll be coming on the J-Bone show. We're going to get a whole profile on him, so you guys can get to know him pretty well through the J-Bone show. So that date's to be determined. We'll get that going pretty soon. But listen, I got my belt hanging up in there. Unfortunately, I got too much going on in the studio dining room. So
I do not sleep with them. They stay in my studio, damn it.
Hey, technically mine's in my bedroom, so I guess I kind of sleep with my belt.
You were the one saying you wanted to buy it. You were the one saying you wanted to buy a belt at Raw. I mean, I guess that's as good a way as any to end it. I mean, how was Raw last night?
Raw was good, man. Hey, it's always a good time hanging out, dude. A little late for me. I had to catch up on some sleep today. You already know how that goes, but I'll tell you what, that was a hot crowd last night, dude, and it filled up pretty good.
I was gonna say, man, it was pretty full, and I mean, I heard Dave and Bully saying on Busted Open. Shout out to the homies from Busted Open again. I had a great time in Texas at their party, but I mean, I heard people saying that they thought that crowd was, a little dead. I mean, maybe at some points in the middle, and maybe because you had Damian Priest just magically fucking disappear with
don't get me wrong, a lot of questionable things last night. I think we talked about it too. There's a lot of people that weren't there, a couple questionable things going on during the show, but there's a difference between what you hear and see on TV versus when you're there, right? It's very. You gotta
bring your belt next time we watch the fights. I think we start putting some of these motherfucking belts up on these picks or some shit.
Oh yeah. Like the crowd last night was very vibey. Like, you know what I mean? They had their moments, but when I see a lot of shit on Twitter about Cody Rhodes and how the crowd reacts to him. I thought the crowd was pretty hot for him, and they got him.
Oh, dude, there was no question. I mean, the two guys that were sitting next to us, shout out to them. I know you guys were checking out the show and all that. Dude, Cody's been an instant star. And again, I think this proves the point that I've said for a while, like WWE screws up a lot of stuff. I hope they don't screw up what we see with this whole thing with Edge and Priest, because the idea of a new school brood, if maybe they bring in Rhea Ripley and all that, I am all for that. But with that being said, dude, when they do things right, they do it right. And what they've done with Cody so far, I mean, they've gotten away from the coming up through the stage like he did in AEW, but they gave him a whole, firework, whole new firework pyro setup.
It was
I mean,
pyro
that
all night
crowd
long for him. It was crazy.
2 full entrances for this guy.
Yeah.
All right. Like, I mean, call it what you want, call it what you will, dude, but that crowd popped both times.
Oh yeah.
Are you guys surprised to see the level of push that he is getting now that he's made it back to the WWE?
No, I'm more worried that it's gonna wear off. It's like getting that new toy. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna play with this all the time. But like after a few weeks, it kind of dies off. I'm worried about what's gonna happen when it starts to level off. You know what I mean? Like, what are we gonna do with him? Obviously, in the program with Miz, very well. What's next though? You know, I just hope he faces top tier guys in WWE.
I was gonna actually say I actually don't have a problem with it. Here's why. So I don't think that you're going to have to worry about that in some senses, because look at this, right? Cody was the first big name to leave AEW. There's bound to be a lot more that'll end up coming, and there will be a lot from WWE that will go over to AEW. It's the nature of competition, and it's the thing that makes wrestling great in the first place. So number one, I don't think people going back and forth is a bad thing. But with that being said, I don't think of it this way. Like, Cody's the first big one. If they bring Cody over there, have him come out hot and do all that, and then just have him get shit on, well, then why would any of those AEW people want to come back to WWE? Exactly. Not that I'm saying WWE. Not that I'm saying WWE is like, oh my God, I want some of those people to come back from AEW, because I really don't think they give a shit.
Yeah, it don't matter.
But like I said, if you think Cody came back here without some kind of assurances, now, do I think it necessarily means it's got to be in a contract? Maybe not. But I have to believe that he had to have. I don't think we're ever going to see him go back to Stardust. I don't think.
No. Hope not. I mean, God, no.
Like I say, this story that they've got going on with him and wanting to win the WWE title for his dad's sake and all that stuff is as good a babyface story as you can put together, because it's 110% real. For those that don't know, his dad won the title in 1977 in the Madison Square Garden, but he never fully was the champion because he won via countout. Mm-hmm. Anyone who knows that you can't win a title in the WWE unless you win by pinfall or submission. So, like I say, the story is built in there. It writes itself. And here's the thing. With the whole thing with Roman, we know Cody has said that he wants to go after the title. Dude, you can have him finish up this thing with Seth Rollins, which clearly isn't over. Have him have at least one, if not two more bangers with Seth Rollins, and continue to put him in the ring with good people. I mean, he was in the ring with The Miz here. Again, say what you want about The Miz, but The Miz is going to be a Hall of Famer too, and rightfully so. The guy has won the Grand Slam twice, which means he's won every title twice, at least. So, exactly. I mean, again, they're not putting
Miz, as much hate as he gets, dude, he's a top level guy. That's for damn sure.
Look what he did with Logan Paul.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying, say what you want about The Miz.
I just want to see. I want to see Cody get, like we were saying, like I want him to face the right guys, man. Like I want.
Well, I mean, you can't really complain with who he's been in the ring with so far. I mean, Seth's top 5 in wrestling, period, right now. And then we just said all that about The Miz. I mean, that was his first match. And then last week, the dark match that he had after Raw was against Kevin Owens. So, I mean, realistically, I can't really bitch with who they've had him in the ring with. Now, is there always going to be that level of, oh, shit, what happens once we get through this initial run and the honeymoon phase wears off? Sure. And that's completely warranted with WWE. But as of right now, I mean, I can't complain with it, and I'd like to think that WWE's got to know that they've got to change some things up. So, like I said, man, I am interested to see what's going to happen. If you guys haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Shout out to Ninja Mack. If you guys haven't checked out Ninja Mack and he's coming in through a city near you, you need to go check out what Ninja Mack's on and maybe play some blackjack with him, man. Shit, I gotta get down on some blackjack against Ninja Mack. I already told Ninja Mack we can get down on the mats. But like I said, this isn't the only episode you got this Thursday. Like I said, we will be live with Justin Made ahead of BCWA Die Harder. If you're in the area, the Wyandotte, Michigan area, make sure you come check it out at the Copeland Center, Wyandotte, Michigan. Uncle Chase will be going to war with Matt Cross. That is going to be an absolute fucking banger. So, like I said,
and you see me and Kyle and hopefully Corey, I'll give you one of these cool stickers. So
hell yeah, get you a sticker. Stick them bitches everywhere. You know what? And what I'm going to stick everywhere, I'm going to stick this food down my throat because I'm hungry. So with that being said, we've got one more episode to come at you this week on Thursday. I'm supposed to be interviewing Lance Gibson Jr. of Bellator for the All Sports All Plays Network. So like I said, make sure you hit that motherfucking subscribe button so that you didn't get any stickers because you didn't ask. God damn it. I got a whole stack of them sitting here. You want stickers? Come get you some stickers. We still got to get you in one of them new Knockouts and 3 Count shirt. Blackwell, if you see this, I got one coming to you at BCWA.
Don't forget Matthew Priest's shirt too. He needs one too.
I know. I got the Ramblings of a Grappleman shirt. Priest, make sure you text me what size you need. Man, the post office is making me go postal until the next time and in the in-between time. Oh, fuck. I hope I don't lose it. Peace.